Hey guys, Starcraft here. Thought I'd go over a couple of the patch notes in patch 1.1 for Starcraft 2. And I believe this was patched on September 21st, so at the time of this recording that would be yesterday. And I guess let's get started. So they did quite a lot of balance changes and just general patches, bug fixes, etc. I will be going over all of them, so if there's ones you don't want to hear, just I guess skip them. But for starters, one of the general ones is the standard US and standard for lefties US hotkey configurations are now available in all regions, which of course is good. The new game clock has been added, so you can turn that off and on in the options menu, and basically what that does is on the bottom left of the screen right above the mini-map they have the game clock for how long it's been going on. And I'm not so sure that's a good thing, because what a lot of players are probably going to exploit that fact and just watch their timings and say, oh, we're 650 into the game, so let me build another gateway. And I feel like that's going to cause a lot of problems, a lot of raging between people. But hopefully they can fix that later on. A quick save option has been added for the single player campaign. Just press Control Q. That's always a good thing, I like that. A new system panel has been added. Players can now view their local time and frames per second while in game. What you do is you put your mouse cursor over the menu option, which is the F10. But you put your mouse over that, and it tells you your frames per second, of course, and your time, local time. I don't know why the local time would really be important, but hey, can't hurt, I guess. And if you're on a laptop, it tells you your Wi-Fi signal strength and battery levels. So I guess that's good. Sight granted by death reveal no longer lifts Fog of War. Units revealed in this manner are not targetable. That's something I've always thought about myself, and I think that's a good change. Hopefully it'll work out. Obviously we'll have to see how it works out in-game, but I've thought about that many a time, and it sounds like it'll be a good change. And Mac only moves StarCraft 2 data files from Documents folder into the Application Support folder, yada yada yada. And finally, for general, support for NVIDIA 3D Vision has been added. So if you have an NVIDIA card that supports 3D Vision and all the proper 3D Vision accessories like the glasses and the little receiver, I believe it is, I'm not sure how all that works, you can play StarCraft in 3D. So that's definitely really cool. Unfortunately, I have an ATI card myself, so. Now onto the balance changes. Protoss, the Zealot build time has been increased by 5 seconds from 33 to 38, and the Warp Gate cooldown increased from 23 to 28. So basically, Zealots just take an extra 5 seconds to make. I never really noticed a problem myself. I don't know how that's going to play out. Of course, I might be a little bit biased because I'm a Protoss player myself, but I guess we'll see how that works. And for Terran, the battlecruiser, the ground damage has been decreased from 10 to 8. I don't quite agree with that, because in the late game, battlecruisers are obviously a big tanky and really strong unit. And in a really competitive game, if you can tech up to the battlecruiser, I think you deserve that big strong unit. And it should be powerful, it should do that 10 damage. And it pretty much should destroy everything, because they're very expensive. And also for Terran, the bunker build time has been increased from 30 seconds to 35 game seconds. That seems pretty good for me, because it did seem that bunkers were built fairly quickly, and it allowed for Terran to set up a contain in the middle of the map much easier. Hopefully this will make it a little bit more difficult for Terrans to turtle anywhere like they can, because I personally hate it when Terran does that. But hopefully that's a good patch. The Reaper build time has increased from 40 to 45 seconds. I know all you Zerg players out there are going to love this one. Even Protoss and other Terran, I'm sure. But that definitely seems good. An extra 5 seconds to the Reaper build time. Now, Reapers do take quite a bit of time to make, but I think that'll definitely be a good change, because I hate Reapers. Pretty much all there is to it. The Siege tank, Siege mode damage has changed from 50 to 35 and plus 15 armor. And upgrade damage changed from plus 5 to plus 3 and plus 2 armor. So instead of plus 5 for the upgrade, it'll just be plus 3 and plus 2 armor. So that should probably be pretty good. This makes siege tanks more like they were in Brood War, which I think they should be. I didn't really like it when they nerfed them all throughout the beta, and they pretty much kept reducing the damage to the point where it just got kind of pointless to have them. And I think this will definitely be a good change. And onto the Zerg now. The Ultralisk, the Ram ability has been moved. Ultralisk will now use normal attack damage against buildings. And the damage has decreased from 15 plus 25 armored to 15 plus 20 armored. Personally, I think that's a good thing. I always thought Ultralisks were way overpowered against buildings because they just destroy bases. And I know they're a big, expensive unit and they're high tier, but they were just ridiculous. But also, something else that'll affect when you're attacking a building, since it's not the ram ability, it's just their normal attack, the cleave attack, that will do some splash damage to nearby units. And with the way Blizzard is doing it now, it is nearby units around the building. So if you're attacking a command center, it will damage all SCVs all around it, even on the other side of the command center. And to me that seems a little bit broken, but hopefully Blizzard will notice that and fix it in the future. And maps. Desert Oasis. Destructible rocks have been added to make natural expansions easier to protect. And then Center Zelnaga Tower area has been narrowed, which I like because Desert Oasis always seemed way too wide open. It seemed a little bit too Zerg friendly in my opinion. And this will make your natural expansion much easier to hold on to because it was just too difficult to hold on to during the game. So that seems like a nice addition. We'll see how that plays out, of course. Starcraft 2 editor. Added new requirement types, odd, divide, mod, and multiply. For those of you that know what that means, good for you. I'm sorry I don't. Added a chance field to affect data. Added support for the slider dialogue control type. Added a trigger to deal damage from a unit. Added a trigger event response to provide the amount a player or unit property changes. Added a trigger event when an effect executes. And I am not editor literate, I guess you could say, because I've never had the patience to learn it, so I'm sorry I can't explain that right now. Trigger editor functions. Again, I probably shouldn't get into that. Bug fixes, there we go, BattleNet. Chat windows no longer vanish when exiting a multiplayer map or campaign missions. That's good. Fixed an issue where players would still receive toasts when their status was set to busy. I was not aware that happened, but that sounds like a good change, of course. Custom game bug fixes. Default race in a game lobby is now properly set to random. I guess that's a good thing. I'm not sure about that. Players can now configure the lobby for 1 vs 5 matches. That's definitely cool. I don't know who would be ballsy enough to do that, but more power to you. The search functionality for map searches has been improved, which is definitely good because I always thought it was weird. So hopefully that's better. Lobby hosts will now receive a toast when invited player declines an invitation. I guess that's good. I don't think I've had that problem. Custom game lobbies will now remember the game mode chosen under a category. That's good. Definitely make it easier to find your favorited maps, of course, or your favorite maps. Fixed an issue where changing the category to custom would default the teams to 5 vs 3. Well, that definitely sounds like a problem, and I'm glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue where custom maps could not be reported from the map preview screen. I don't really see that as a big deal, but if that was a problem, of course, it's a good thing. Gameplay. If a unit loads into a transport, missiles targeting it will no longer target similar units in the area. I didn't know that was a problem, but that's good too. Structures damaged during construction will no longer count towards structures lost. I guess that's a good thing, because a lot of times you'll cancel it, and that would obviously be a problem. Lose you a couple points in the end. Fixed an issue where builders waiting for an area to clear if the block unit's trying to leave the area. That was very annoying. I noticed it definitely with Terran when you would have a bunch of Marines running around your base sometimes. Try to set down a new barracks. And they would kind of dance in and out because they would be going to the left, crossing over the area where you're about to build the barracks, and then they would realize, oh crap, you're building, and try to go right, but it would just turn into them dancing back and forth, and you would have to wait for them to keep moving. So now they just keep moving to the direction that you tell them to. And that's definitely good, because that was very annoying, and that's the way it should be. Fixed an issue with inventory drop range checks. Fixed an issue that in certain cases allowed a command to be issued that did not appear on the command card. I've never heard of that one. That sounds a little dangerous, I guess. Interface. Queue tooltips now display information about what is in progress. That's good. Fixed an issue where the back button would not always return players to the score screen properly. I always noticed that, and it always bothered me. So I'm really glad they fixed that one. Terran, Marines trained at multiple barracks will now prefer a barracks with a reactor over one with a tech lab or no attachment, which is definitely good. It just means that the reactor gets the priority so you can get the maximum amount of macro out of that building. SCVs will now load into the closest command center if multiple are within range. That's good. For Zerg, creep now recedes properly when an AI-controlled hatchery, lair, or hive is destroyed. Didn't know that would be a problem, but that's definitely good. More editor stuff. I'm not going to get into all that because there's like 100 of them. Technical issues. Fixed an issue where unplugging headphones could cause the game to freeze. I don't think I've ever unplugged headphones, and now I'm glad because that seems like a serious problem. And finally, fixed an issue where XP systems running with Unicode characters enabled could prevent a player from starting a multiplayer game. That sounds extra weird. So I'm glad Blizzard took the time to fix all these bugs. Made a couple balance changes like the Reapers and excuse me, and the Zealots. That probably is a good thing now that I think about it, that they reduced the Zealot build time, or increased the build time. I'm not too fond of the Battle Cruiser. Bunker seems good. Overall, the balance seems okay. I'm a little 50-50 on some of them, but I'm definitely happy with it. And if you guys want to read these patch notes yourself, the link is in the description box, so check that out if you want to. And thanks for watching and listening. Starcraft signing out.